Hey there, Discover Family Church. Pastor Johnny here. I hope you're doing great this morning. I am sitting here in our sanctuary. This is the Discover Family Church sanctuary. It is like completely tore up because we use it for recording and filming and stuff like that. And so we've moved all the chairs back to the wall so we could put lights where we wanted to and make it look right. But we are heading towards live services again, which means recording is not something we'll be necessarily doing on every Sunday morning. Instead, we'll be going back to more of a live stream like we used to do. And in that process, we want to make sure we have so many new people watching. We want to make sure that we're still putting out something that's quality, that looks good. And so we've been sort of hodgepodging together a better video system to be able to let people see what we're doing and be a part of what we do around the country. But I was here today looking at our gear and looking at what we had and how we could make something else to work better and make it even better. And I started looking at some of the equipment we have and started realizing what we used to have. Like, this was what we bought this when we started the church. This is a Canon video camera, and this is like a camcorder like you buy for, going on vacation, to Disney World or something like that. It's just a regular camcorder, and we use this, honestly, we were still using it up until the coronavirus hit. It worked well. It did okay. It wasn't a great video, but it got the point across, but it was very, a very singular perspective on things. And at one point we used an iPad to record. We had a big lens on the end of it. You might have remembered seeing that in the back. And we've used that a lot during the virus outbreak just because it's a really easy way to film. We've filmed and live streamed over phones like I'm recording on right now. And then we got this camera. We just got this camera, and this is a cool camera because we can use a joystick right there to control where it goes and all that kind of stuff. Look at that. It's pretty cool. We can do that, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty neat. And then this week somebody donated, a friend of mine donated us, and this thing is so tiny. This little camera right here, and it's not a GoPro, but it's similar. It's called an SJ Cam. The thing is, look at how little this is, itty bitty. But it films in 4K. 4K, and somebody donated 3 or 4 of these things to us. And so we're trying to figure out how to make them work their best way. And as I was looking across all of this stuff that we've used to try and put content out and allow people to see what we're doing, I realized how many different perspectives we had. Like, this is a normal video camera, and it just sort of shoots normal video camera stuff. It looks like a cheap camcorder. The iPad, we put a wide angle lens, so it had a little bit of a different look to it. This one has an extremely wide angle lens. It's, if I zoom all the way out, I'm right in front of the thing, and it's like, it is such a wide angle and but we can zoom in on different lenses on it and all that kind of stuff. These things are wide angle, but we can put different lenses on, and we can get all these different perspectives on what we're trying to look at. And I started thinking about how important perspective is with what we do. One of my favorite stories, and I've talked about it so many times, is the story of Samson. And Samson is a guy who started with a very singular perspective. Don't cut my hair, don't cut my hair, don't cut my hair. Then he gets married and he falls in love, and he's like, I got to make her happy, but don't cut my hair. I got to make her happy, but don't cut my hair. All of a sudden, there's 2 perspectives. And then they cut his hair off, and he loses all of his power, and he gets thrown in prison. They gouge his eyes out. All the different perspectives that are coming throughout this guy's life. And eventually, he's grinding grain as a blind man, and they finally bring him up to the temple so that they can spit at him and make fun of him. And we know the story, right? He pushed the pillars down. It's in Judges chapter 16. I love this because what we see right here is the story of Samson changing his perspective. And I'm going somewhere with this, so listen to me. In Judges chapter 16, it says, Then Samson prayed to the Lord, O sovereign Lord, remember me. O God, please strengthen me just once more. Let me with one blow get revenge on the Philistines for my 2 eyes. And Samson reached toward the 2 central pillars on which the temple stood, bracing himself against them with his right hand on one and his left hand on the other. Samson said, let me die with the Philistines. Then he pushed with all his might, and down came the temple on the rulers and all the people in it. What we see here is Samson had lived his life with Samson's perspective. And for lack of a better term, Samson's perspective is this. It's normal. It's what the world has. The world has a perspective on what's going on right now in this world. The world has a perspective on what's going on in your heart when it comes to Jesus living in you. The world has a perspective on what being a Christian means. And it's this, it's a normal video. It's what the world sees. If somebody's going to go buy a video camera today, they're going to go buy one of these. And it's going to look just like everybody else's video camera. And it's the normal perspective. But remember, God didn't call us to live under the normal perspective. And so often as the church, we try and find our own new perspective. Oh, this one's movable and we can change this and we change that. But in the end, it's still our perspective. You know, hey, I got the brand new hotness, this little thing, and it'll film 4K and do something really cool, but it's still your perspective. And what I'm trying to tell you today is that it's time for you, if you're a Christian, to live like a Christian, which means you put all your perspective away. It's not about what the world sees or the new special perspective that you have because you came up with it. It's about living your life through God's perspective. For Samson, he didn't live his life in God's perspective, in looking through the world through the lens of Jesus, through the lens of God, until that moment when he stood in that temple and he said, God, let me do what I could never do before. Let me do what they took the ability away from me to do. Give me the strength to do it. And he looked at God and he said, I want your perspective on what's happening in my life and what's happening in this world, and I want you to use me. Church, if you want to be used by God, then it's time to stop looking at the world through your eyes and through your lenses. It's time to stop getting offended, and it's time to stop worrying about what people think. But instead, it's time to start looking at the world through the lens, through the vision, through the perspective of the God that you serve. And to make his vision your vision. That's the way that you're going to do the biggest things ever in your life, just like Samson did. The day that you have your perspective on the back burner or thrown away, and instead you're looking at the world through the perspective of the God you serve. I love you guys. Have a great day. This is going to be really cool. We'll be talking pretty soon about services coming up, but I love you very much, and I can't wait to see you soon. Have a great day.